Yeah. Us sitting here talking.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's for the books.
For the book. One for the books.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you get you ran and got a drink, right?
Yeah. Good, baby.
Sweet. Sweet.
What I really need to figure out is how the fuck to keep my Sony from fucking dying.
Oh, you need a bigger battery. You know we're live, by the way. Ha ha ha. I like to do that. Yeah. So, do they make a battery grip for the A7R2?
Yes, they do.
Does that battery grip allow like an AC adapter?
That I don't know. I have to look into that.
Be a good thing to look
I don't
into.
know, because remember I tried to plug in the camera and it went to the firmware update mode.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's so weird. Another win for Olympus in that regard. So, hey, I'll just do the intro because we've been rolling for a minute. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 150 of Mirrorless Minutes.
Hello.
I'm your host, Jamie. There's your other host, Jerry. We've just kind of been hanging out, just kind of getting things going behind the scenes here. And Jerry's trying to figure out a good solution for video.
For lighting.
For lighting.
Mainly. Yeah.
Lighting and something to prevent batteries from going dead in the middle of the show. I think that we have people basically doing like a spread, a betting pool on when your battery dies during the show. Because the last show, not the just.
It's happened every time since I bought that damn cam link.
Yeah. Well, because you've probably never used your Sony for a continuous video feed for so long.
Right.
You know, and you have the A7R2, which has a very tiny battery, considering, you know, the camera and all that. So
right. I'm sure your Sony would probably run an hour, no problem.
I think it might. I've never tried anything like it, but
you have to try it next week.
Hey, let's give some shout outs to everybody chatting tonight. So we got Mike Hedge, Bob Panic, and my girl Shelly in the chat room. And I see a couple happy birthdays in there for you, Jerry.
Thank you.
So don't give away your age. I know people can probably figure it out some way. And Jeff says Jerry loves the F-bombs to start off the show. Yeah, no holds barred.
You guys know how Jerry is by now.
Right. So here's the gist. I think we've got, a decent amount of people watching the show live. So I will just kind of talk about my ideas for Jerry's birthday plan kind of thing. So here's the deal. Go over to the Facebook group, submit a photo, on the page. It doesn't have to be themed or anything. Just submit something you've shot lately or, something you like. And in your description for the image, you can say whatever you want, but you need to include a number. And that number should be how old you think Jerry is. And yo, what's up, Richard, over in Minnesota? Richard? So here's the deal. Here's what I'm going to do. So I'm one of those people that I see something shiny and techy and I'm like, ooh, I want to get that. So I get it. And then, a few months later, I'm like, I shouldn't have spent money on that. And this is one of those things. So I have a glut of tech things that are like very hardly used at all. And one of them is this keyboard. Oh, I just bonked myself in the head a couple times with it. It is from a company called Ko1. I don't know how you would really say their name or whatever. So I'm going to share my Chrome tabs. You can kind of check out their page here. So this is a keyboard that I backed on Kickstarter, and it's designed with Apple in mind because it's got like a command key and it's got shortcut keys for, I don't know, like just some of the different things that you can do on a Mac. Like I can't even remember the name of the functions. It's basically like a command center kind of a thing. Anyways. Even though it was designed with a Mac in mind, it still 100% functions perfectly fine on Windows. And with that in mind, you can also use it, like I said, on Windows. You can use it tethered to your Android device. You can hook it up to your iPad Pro. It doesn't matter. It works across a lot of different platforms. It's a nice keyboard. It's aluminum. It's a low-profile keyboard. It's not wireless, but there's a reason it's not wireless. It's USB-C, And on the back side of the keyboard, you've got 4 USB 3 ports. You've got a USB-C port that is power distribution, so you could use it to power, a device or what have you. It's got an SD card reader. I think it's UHS 2. And then it's got a micro SD card reader, and it's got an HDMI port as well. So you could technically hook this up to like your MacBook Pro or MacBook Air or something like that. And then it'll support running up to 2 4K monitors through it. So it's a pretty sweet keyboard. I'm just not using it. I ended up switching to, I don't want to try to hold it up, but anyways, I will. A mechanical keyboard and click, a very clickety clackety keyboard. So I also have another keyboard that has not been unboxed that I'll probably give away in the near future too. That was ridiculously expensive. That I'm just in love with this keyboard, so I'm not going to use it. But anyways, if you want a shot at the keyboard, whether you use it or not, if you win it, sell it, doesn't matter to me. I just need it out of my house. Submit a picture to the Facebook group, the Mirrorless Minutes Facebook group, and in your description or what have you, just put your guess for Jerry's age. And here's the thing. You don't have to get it right to win. We're just going to randomly draw somebody who submitted a picture. Okay. Ship it anywhere.
The chances.
And here's the thing. I'm only going to ship it within the continental United States because I'm too lazy to fill out all the paperwork to ship it out of the country. Sorry. Maybe if you wanted to use a freight forwarder or something to get it, we could do that. But I just don't want to handle messing around with the local postal service and customs and all that jazz. So there you go. And it's the 150th episode, and I think the keyboard's like $150 keyboard. So ta-da! I kind of tied it all together. And I think if somebody guesses Jerry's 150, then that will be the trifecta of 150s. Okay, so
what are you drinking?
I am drinking. Okay, so I kind of watered down a bourbon. Actually, it's a whiskey. It's that Cask and Crew. The one that you suggested I get this. It's the black walnut
toffee
or black, toffee and walnut. Oh my gosh, it's so good. But I mixed it with some Coke.
Out of my room.
He's got a cat in his room. Jeez. So tonight's show, in case you didn't see the banner for it, Jerry and I have spent some time, playing in the world of Fuji lately. I got my first, hands-on experience last summer with the GFX 50R, and then more recently, Jerry, same camera? No, the GFX 50S. I think you had for a minute, right?
Yep, yes.
So then Jerry got his hands on that, and then I ended up with the XE3, and Jerry ended up with the X100V. And like they say, the grass is not always greener on the other side of the fence. It's just a different kind of grass. And so TJ Robinson says he's older than dirt. Where's the gray? Yeah, dude, where is all the gray? You've been using Just for Men? What's going on? Yes, he's dying that stuff. We know he is. So I think that our experiences are kind of similar. We might have different reasons, maybe, but I just don't really love it. It's kind of a quirky camera, mine, the XE3. I have no experience with Jerry's other than running a couple of test shots through it when we were out shooting. So I can't speak too much to his, but I just, the naming convention, the menu systems, just how the camera focuses, the way it meters a scene. There's really, the ergonomics aren't horrible on this camera. They're not like astounding by any stretch of the imagination. The color science is insane. It's gorgeous. But I think for me, I have to enjoy the feel in my hand. It just needs to be a part of me. And with this camera, I ended up having to get, one of these hot shoe thumb grips to make it more comfortable. The shutter button, the shutter release, I had to get a soft grip because the shutter release on this camera is funky. It does not feel like any camera I've used before. So all these things for me just kind of stacked up against using it. And I found myself not picking that up and picking this up way more. And if you've never held a Pen-F, find somebody who has one and just get your hands on it, and then tell me if it doesn't just feel like it belongs in your hand. It is an amazing camera from an ergonomic standpoint. The build quality, this is nice. It's solid. Yeah. But the Pen-F, it feels like it was a chunk of magnesium that was put on a 5-axis CNC milling machine, and it was all milled from one block. And somehow they magically made the insides appear in it. It's a work of art. And I appreciate that aspect of it as much as I do the images that come out of it, as much as I do the ergonomics and the feel of it. And you combine all those things together for me, and it's just a great experience. And I haven't been able to replicate it. I was hoping Fuji with the color science would be enough to, kind of sway me into, a pocketable camera that was fun to use. I have a feeling if I do enough deeper digging into the Pen-F, I can probably come pretty close to recreating a lot of the feel that I get from the JPEGs out of the Fuji. And you just can't beat the Pen-F. You just can't. So there's my story. There's my backing away from the Fuji. So what about you, Jerry? Like, do you have a reason for kind of getting out of the Fuji?
So for me, it was more like I felt like I was cheating on my Pen-F. I would grab the Fuji and I'd walk out and I'd see the Pen-F sitting there, and I'm like, I'm not using that camera at all. As far as the camera goes itself, mine was a little different than yours. Mine was a little newer, I believe.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Mine was built really good. The only design I didn't like was I had to order a different thumb grip than you.
Yeah.
That goes in the hot shoe. So the one I had was longer because of the way the body's built. Yeah. So I could not reach my shutter dial with the thumb grip on. I had to reach over the thumb grip.
Ooh.
So if I wanted to change the shutter speed, I could always set the back dial, but then what's the point? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I had to reach over the thumb grip to adjust shutter speed and ISO and stuff like that. And I was like, well, that's not very fun. No. So I'm shooting and I gotta reach this hand up and then turn the dial while I'm adjusting, and I'm like, come on, man. So that was really the only downside to the camera for me, other than the fact that I got too many cameras, man. Yeah. And I'm just, like I've been telling you for months now, I'm trying to keep it simple, and so the whole reason I got that camera was so I didn't have to decide which lens to use, which lens to put on and take with me. But now I'm deciding now, what camera do I take, Yeah. So I was like, I'm done with that one. I'll keep what I got, what I'm used to. And I mean, it's a great camera. It's built nice. The images are great. Yeah. Yeah. I just too many cameras, man. I need to cut back.
Yeah. I've shot enough with you to know that you pack lighter than, I don't even understand it. I mean, we'll go shoot, whatever, crazy landscape, weather, street, abandonment. It doesn't matter. Like, you pack like a camera and a lens, and I'm like the backpack full of crap, and right. And I can understand your mindset of definitely not wanting to have to filter through and sift through different gear and end up taking more than you want, because that's not how you roll. So
right. I just look at everything like I'm the one here creating the image. The viewers aren't gonna see what I didn't capture. You know what I mean? Right. So you just capture what's going to catch their eye. Mm-hmm. So I don't need to take, a wide angle lens for this specific location, and you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's some cases where a wide angle or a zoom lens is a must have. Sure. Now, you know me, when I shoot lighthouses and stuff like that, I'm not shooting wide angle.
No, well, because you don't want them this big.
Right. I want you to be able to see the hinges on the doors and the windows and the rust and stuff like that, and you're not going to see that with something like a 7-14.
Right.
So
Yeah, I agree with Steve on this one. So I haven't had a ton of experience with Canon, but my girlfriend has the Z6, and that camera just feels great in the hand, just like an OMD. So I'll side with that much of Nikon that I know for sure. As far as ergonomics go, they definitely feel good.
Nikon?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
he said
Nikon.
there's nothing like Nikon and Olympus ergonomics.
I don't know if I've ever held a camera that felt like shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you didn't use the what was it, the oh my god, the Fuji that I used,
the brick Fuji.
the
Yeah, I shot that
50R.
thing. I shot it when we had it in the building.
That thing was gross,
I mean,
dude. It felt like a plastic brick turd, like a $5,000 plastic turd. I'm sorry, it was horrible. It was horrible. I mean,
I
come
don't
on.
know, man. I don't pay attention to shit like that. You know what I mean? I'm more concentrating on what I'm going to create than
This was like holding the GFS 50R, except this big, so your hands are like this to hold it.
That thing was here. It was like a freaking big ass Game Boy or something.
I mean, look, I don't have big hands, but I mean, for crying out loud, I felt like a toddler holding this big camera. It just the pictures are amazing, but again, for me, like the feel of it makes it makes a difference. I mean, it has to be comfortable in your hands. That's what I don't understand the appeal of Leica. I've held a few Leicas I shot with. I think I ran a couple of pictures through Lou Peoples, one of his Leicas before. Talk about build quality. There's nothing built like that. I mean, that's just craftsmanship through and through. But from an ergonomic standpoint, it's a block. I mean, it's got nice, beautiful curves and all that, but just from a feel standpoint, man, I just can't get behind it, and for as rectangular and blocky as the pen is, there's a decent amount of depth here on the front. The thumb grip is probably one of the best little bits of ergonomics on a small camera I've ever used. It's, again, because I don't have whatever Kareem Abdul-Jabbar thumbs, my thumb fits in it good, but yeah, ergonomics matter. So Steve wants to know, did we sell them? Yeah, Jerry sold his. I think Jerry took like 7 pictures and said, screw this, I'm done. He sold his. He sold his pretty quick. I've still got mine. If anybody wants to make an offer, just hit me up.
Jamie's going to give that away on 2 episodes from now.
I'm probably getting desperate enough to dump it. I should take the camera in my room and do a tour of my shelves. People would probably puke. So I don't even have room for it. It just sits on my computer desk. So yeah, it'll probably go away soon once the holidays are past. Let's see, what else do we have up here? So Vic Romaine says he loves his X Pro 1. Yeah, and I'm not knocking Fuji as a whole. I'm seriously not. Just the experience I had with the couple of cameras that I shot with.
You just didn't like the big brick camera, man. That thing was square as hell.
So I guess I could say I don't like the ones that I've used. They're rangefinder style of cameras. I just wasn't a fan of them. I've never held any of the X Pros or the XTs, so maybe they have a better feel. I mean, this is definitely not the Fuji experience. I mean, you're pretty limited on dial here. You know what I mean? I mean, Fuji's known for the tactile feel of their cameras because everything is basically a dial, and this camera is not that. And I don't know that yours was quite the same as like the XTs and the X Pros either, as far as having everything a dial. I mean, yours had a dial, but it had a sub dial within the dial.
Right. Yeah.
So not individual dials.
For the ISO, yeah.
So this is hilarious. Here's this terrible camera. Who wants to buy it? It's honestly, it's not terrible. It's just terrible for me. It doesn't mean that there's somebody out there who wouldn't, love this camera. It's just not a fit for me. I mean, I've spent so many years with Olympus cameras. They just fit and feel better. Maybe it's a familiarity thing. I really couldn't say for certain.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's.
Oh, I'm going to get so much hate from Fuji people out there. I swear to God, I'm not bashing Fuji. Just my personal experience with a couple of cameras.
Bashing them to me.
I think I was kind of bashing a little bit, but I don't mean it. I love you guys. I love all photographers. Even all of them. There's no hate here.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see an issue with the camera itself, other than the fact that I wasn't using my pen.
Yeah, and and the things that I listed too, I mean, to give the camera credit and whatever. So I complained about the metering. I'm just familiar with how my Olympus cameras meter a scene. I know if I'm looking at a scene, I'm one of those people that likes to. I'm kind of like locking exposure, so I'll just kind of, move my frame around until I get the exposure I want. I'll just lock that exposure and then I'll recompose. I do that a lot. I know it's probably quicker to do it another way.
I've never used that.
Oh, dude, I live by
no
that.
cameras. I've never used that feature.
Constantly, I live on that. So, and just even so, let's say I'm doing center weighted metering and I'm looking at a scene, inside of a building or what have you. I know that if I point my Olympus into this corner of the building, I already kind of know exactly what it's going to end up exposing. Like when I move the Fuji over, like one time it seemed like it would be super brightly exposed. Another time it's black. And I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know. And that's center weighted. It's not like it's matrix and it's trying to figure the whole scene out. I'm just trying to nail in this one section of the room. And it never did what I thought it was going to do, ever, not once. And again, it just might be me not giving it time to figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't ever really pay attention to metering. You know what I mean? I go by settings versus I kind of know what the camera's going to do. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying with the Olympus. I know what it's going to do. And if you're saying about going by the histogram, I get that for an even exposure.
I've never used my histogram.
Okay, I was going to say, because I can't shoot using the histogram because I like to work where I've got, specific areas of the scene I want metered a certain way. I can't just evenly expose across the scene. It's just not how I work. It saves me time in post to, kind of meter for what I want rather than evenly expose and then fix in post or whatever.
Right.
Let's see. So what is this? In the last 2 months, we went from Olympus to Fuji to Nikon, now back home to Olympus. I'm so done. Yeah, you're right. There is something magical about Olympus. And I'm not just saying that because I've been in bed with them for so long. It's just, they just are. I mean, I've had my hands on a lot of different cameras lately, and I still find there's a sweet spot for Olympus for sure with me. Hey, we got Jason on here tonight. How's it going, dude? He's very excited to be jumping in and hearing that maybe I can stop spending so much time on Fuji rumors and lusting after the X Pro 3 or X100V. Well, I'm glad to have picked up my EM1 Mark IIIs over the past week. I'm really enjoying all of them this past year. Old vintage manual focus lenses. My man, that's fun. That's a lot of fun. I like the look of that.
Don't get discouraged on the Fuji stuff though either, man.
No, yeah, don't. I'm just one guy who gave this camera a shot for a couple of months, and I didn't even really give it a full dedicated shot. It's not like I only shot with this camera. You know what I mean? So
I took some bangers with mine, man. You know what I mean?
Yep. I mean, I'm happy with the image results. I'm just not happy with how the camera performed for me. That's my big rub. And again, that's just maybe like a lack of familiarity with it. Maybe I didn't have the greatest lens on it when it came to focusing speed, because I really haven't used anything that focuses as fast as an Olympus camera yet. I mean, I'm sure, there are other things like even the Sony. I mean, I'm not using Sony branded lenses or whatever. I'm using the Tamrons on it, but the focus isn't as fast as it is on the OMDs. They're just like instantaneous on even in really lower light conditions too. So shooting in the UP with Mark, shooting sunset, I had the EM1X and the A7 III side by side, and I could focus on the clouds and just find an edge on a cloud that gave just enough, contrast in the background, and the Olympus was just on it every single time, instant. But the Sony was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm starting to fanboy about Olympus right now. I'm ready to take a drink and let you talk.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about because I don't have no problem with my Sony.
No. You shoot girls indoors with controlled light. You're a lot different shooter.
You must forgot I was shooting Sony outdoors before when I met you.
Yeah, I suppose.
Older model also.
Yeah.
So
crop sensor too though. So I think there's a difference there
that was
for
full
some
frame.
reason. Oh, you were? I thought you were the
A2.
A6500 back then.
Nope, A7 II.
Gotcha.
I had an A6000 also. But I had a A7 II.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know. I don't have those problems. I don't have focusing issues with mine.
It's interesting. Would I want to pen
And
up?
I shoot a lot at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 Not landscapey though stuff, right? Like in town.
My street, no, my street stuff. Yeah, yeah.
There's usually lots of lights there.
Yeah.
Versus like, you know, a big open field in the evening. You know what I mean? There's a huge difference in.
I mean, if you're talking
light there,
you're talking sunset, you're not gonna have a problem at sunset.
So Jason wants to know.
You shouldn't have a problem at sunset.
Would I want a PEN-F over the EM5 Mark II? If so, why? Besides the JPEG settings, portability, man. Yes. Portability.
Way cooler camera.
Oh hell yeah, definitely. I mean,
you're gonna lose the weather sealing, but who cares?
Different animal, different purposes. It's funny. So I have like I do the weirdest stuff. I tell people this is my dress up camera. If I go, you know, for my day job on a business trip, I pack this. This is my nice, pretty, good looking camera. Night out on the town in Chicago or LA or wherever I'm going for work, you know. And it looks good. It performs great. And when you throw the 1.8 primes on it, it's the dopest travel camera ever. You know, I mean, I have nothing to fault it, you know, other than the weather sealing, I guess. I know street shooters don't like that it's got the fully articulating screen and not a tilt, but I'm not.
I don't. That's another thing. I don't ever get that argument either.
Yeah.
Why the hell that camera you can still get that angle. It's just off to the side of the camera. Plus, you can get other angles. So why are you bitching?
Right, you know,
for
sure.
I never get that argument. That blows my mind. That they complained about that on the X100V as well.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the other cameras had an articulating screen, I believe. The XT4, I think it was.
Okay, yeah, it's super useful.
And the X100V just has the little tilt screen.
Yeah.
I would much rather have an articulating screen.
I agree. I mean, I get it. Some people, you know, that are hardcore in the street, they don't want.
But look, well,
they want to be able to tilt it and look straight down at it without having it stick out.
Yeah, they ain't real street shooters then, because goddamn it, I shoot a lot of portrait style, and guess what? When you can do this,
that's the best, isn't it?
And you can get low to the ground like that.
Yep.
Come on, man.
Yep. I've gotten some fun shots in the streets, setting it up exactly like that. Don't have to lay down on the ground. I just lean to the side and just lower my arm down. I can see the composition and just pop it off and roll. So let's see, what else do we have here? Man, there's a lot of comments going on tonight. Let's see. Oh my gosh, where do I even start, dude? Okay, let me just answer this one right now. I have no information on that. I am so far out of the loop with Olympus anymore. I don't get the info that I used to, and if I did, I wouldn't tell you guys anyways, because I couldn't, because I'd be under NDA. My hope is this, you know, there seems to be a lot
Brian Essler.
Right, yeah. Is Brian in the chat room tonight? I don't think he gets any of the info anymore either. So this is my thought on that, just from what I do know and what I hear. I think there's going to be a lot of focus put on higher end cameras, and as far as the pen line is concerned, this is, you know, the top of the heap right here. It's the top of the pile. It's the best of the best. So I'm really hoping that they come out with a PEN-F 2 with weather sealing. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's really the only thing lacking from it, because then at that point I would lose a little bit of my portability, and I'd go with the 1.2 primes, even though they're bigger. But
here's the thing. How much can you get a pen wet?
I got rained on with it in Chicago once.
Right. So like
it was fine.
When they say weather sealing, I mean, does that mean you can't go out in the rain? I mean,
I didn't get drenched on like I would like some of the times we've been out at the piers or whatever, you know.
Because
shooting,
I say that because I think people get scared when they hear it's not weather sealed, and they act like you can't get a drop of water on it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
I've never had I've had cameras that aren't weather sealed, and I've accidentally dunked them underwater in Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
Trying to ride the waves.
Yep.
And then I accidentally, it goes under and it comes out and they're fine. You know? So, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, Adam's right with this. It would be the ultimate if they did revamp the 1.8 primes and bring those back as weather sealed. That would be great. It really doesn't take up much room on the camera, I wouldn't think. You know, they're
It just needs a gasket, right?
Just a gasket in the back.
Yeah, and what about the front? The element don't move, right? No, I don't.
No, they don't move.
No,
so
they're good. Yeah, you just put a gasket. Make your own. Go to Harbor Freight.
Hell, I wonder if you could. No, seriously, no.
Hey,
I was literally going there. You know, they make these little tabletop CNC machines. Have you ever seen those? It's basically like a Dremel tool you control with a computer. You could probably Dremel a shallow ring around it and find a shallow gasket and seat it in there, and at least have that's probably the weak point on the camera is the lens mount. So weather sealing those primes, oh my god, dude, sell that as a service. You'd have people all over that.
Weather sealing your lenses?
Yeah, at least those, you know. For sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if they were to make a PEN-F, another one. Hey,
Steve, who are you talking to? Didn't drop his camera in the lake. I didn't drop mine in the lake. The lake claimed it. It was a big wave. It washed right over the pier. Took all my stuff. I didn't drop it. I fell into a river in the Smokies, and I didn't drop my camera in though. I caught myself with my camera on the rocks underwater and smashed it. But that's my bad luck with water. I didn't drop anything in the water. I fell in the water, and the water ate my camera. So,
give me they make a new PEN-F, make it 12 megapixels.
These guys are giving me so much shit tonight. I don't. Oh man, I swear you guys, I'm not that hard on my cameras. Just the world is hard on my cameras. It's not me.
It's Mother Nature.
It is. She's kind of. I'm not going to say what she is. All right, let me go back up here in the. Jason's got some banger questions here. Look of different older lenses, mostly Nikon, also Minolta. The MD Roker X lenses, I've got 2 of those, and those are, I love those. I throw those on the pen a lot, actually.
Yep.
Everything is softer, but changing the monotone settings in camera and shooting JPEGs, it's awesome. And it's better if I don't spend money on new gear, right? Heck yeah, it is for sure. And I think that the fact that there's no coatings, no anti-reflective coatings or like crappy anti-reflective coatings,
layers of stuff on the lens.
It changes the whole dynamic. I love the flare I get on those. It's cool. It's so funny. Like, it's hard to get flare on a modern lens. Like, you have to work. You know, the 7-14 or 8mm, those are easy, but you get to like a 25 or a 50 or something like that, it gets a little tough to get like a good-looking flare.
Buy a $12 Tiffin UV filter and put it on there to get some flare.
Right. Yeah, for sure. You'll probably get a picture of the inside of your lens reflected off of the filter. The lake dropped on Jamie. It did. So here, okay. Because I'm a good Samaritan, Mike Hedge, who's in the chat room, he was there. I was doing like this little, it's like a little one-day tour of the west side of the state workshop through the camera shop in Muskegon, and ended the day in Muskegon at Pier Marquette. And there were big waves. They were busting, they're 15-foot waves. And I didn't go out to where it was crazy dangerous. I stayed. So the pier goes out and it makes this dog leg. Okay. And I stayed on the main first part of it. The water tends to not wash over the pier there. It tends to break further out. So I stayed where it was safe. I was using the 300 f4 and shooting the lighthouse from a safe distance. And then I decided to go out on that initial leg of the pier so that I could get the lighthouse to fill the entire frame. So it'd just be lighthouse and wave. And I got my shots. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm getting the hell out of here. Turn around, I start walking back. And I'm halfway back on that stretch of the pier. And these 2 girls come walking up with light jackets on, not dressed for the weather. And I'm going to throw out my crappiest British accent possible because they were from the UK. And they're holding their phone. They're taking pictures of themselves. And I'm coming up with my tripod over my shoulder and camera bag. And they're like, excuse me, sir, could you take our picture for us? And I'm like, yeah, for sure.
You did that pretty good, man.
So I unfolded the tripod legs, set it down, set my camera bag next to it. I'm like, all right, come on, you guys. So I set them up, take the picture, I'm like, hold on, we'll do one more, and go to take the picture, and I'm looking in the camera, and I see their eyes go. And I take the picture right when I feel all this water, and I'm like, oh my God, and it's like up to my knees. There were no waves that high that close to shore the entire time I was there. Rogue wave. And I see the look on their face, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's cool. And I turn and look, and then I realize why they were going, oh, because no tripod, camera bag sitting right on the edge of the pier. And I'm like, oh, shit, here's your phone. Here's your phone. And they're like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We shouldn't have asked you to take our picture. And I'm like, no, it's okay. It's okay. I can see it down there. And so I jump onto the rocks at the edge of the pier, and then I jump down into the water, and it's like just past my belly button deep. And I pull it out of the water, and I'm like, well, now I get to tell Olympus I just wrecked a 300 F4 and an EM1 Mark II. This isn't going to be good. So what do? First thing I do, I take a couple of selfies, take a selfie of me all wet, take a picture of me looking with the camera the lens full of water. It was horrible. But Olympus was super cool and understanding. I showed him the last picture that was taken with the camera because they replaced the camera and the lens. Thank God. SD card was perfectly fine once it dried out. But I didn't drop it in the water. I didn't throw it in the water. The lake ate it. And just, I know I ramble and I talk a lot. Maybe too much alcohol tonight, but whatever. When I was little, my dad told me about the Great Lakes. You don't turn your back on big water. And I did. And she got me.
It got me good 2 years ago. Dragged me over the rocks.
I love Jeff. Jeff is so funny. So, Jerry, answer that question.
What is it? Oh.
You
qualify. The hell is AARP?
Oh, man. He's so old, he doesn't even know what AARP is. It is the American Association of Retired Persons.
Oh, shit. I'm never retiring.
No, definitely not. You can't. Retiring is dying, basically.
Yep.
So let's see what Donna had to say. Wow. She already cracked her Olympus camera, and she's had that camera for 4 or 5 months. Ooh. Do tell in the chat what you did. How did this happen? It's hard to crack a camera.
Right.
I don't think I've ever, well, no, I did crack one, but again, that was in the river in the Smokies, and I was standing on a rock and slipped. I'm like a ninja, fat ninja. I slipped. I could see my feet in front of me, and I did that thing that cats do. I spun over so I would land hands first, but I was holding an EM1X in my hand and smashed it into the rocks. Or no, it was the EM1 Mark II. Smashed it into the rocks and used that to push myself back up to standing, and then that's when I noticed that all the buttons on the control dial on the top had fallen off, and the camera was flashing on and off and doing all kinds of weird stuff. It was horrible. So again, I didn't drop it in the water. I fell. My workshop's got to be intense. They're not too bad. Just ask anybody who's been on them. They've all come back alive. They usually come back extremely tired every day.
And wet.
Yeah, the UP, it rained on us. Yeah.
I mean, we played in the water and.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun though. You should come on one sometime, Steve. They're a blast. Yes, I got definitely a couple of good shots before losing the camera in the water. So it was fun. So tonight's photo share. I don't have any photos. I haven't taken any photos in a minute because the room I'm in now, I just recently repainted, put new lighting in, remounted my TV on the wall and mounted the sound bar, and I did all this stuff. I've been working in my house. So
all right, let me keep talking. Keep talking.
Keep talking. Bag of rice trick. Okay, so if I put it in a bag of rice, I'd basically have rice that was full of water, and you could probably eat it with the cameras anyways. I mean, they were pretty saturated, but I did use the SD card. I did put it in a bag of the silica gel. I always save those. If I get a pair of shoes or anything that comes with those little packets, I save those. I put them in a Ziploc bag. And I just had a bunch of those. So I cut those open and poured them into a little Tupperware container, little tiny one, and threw the SD card in it. And it only took a couple of days. I took it out and everything was fine on it. Let's see. So Donna, we get to learn how she cracked her camera. Thought she had zipped up her bag, but actually didn't. Bouncing out of the car onto the concrete. Ouch. You're not alone on that. I think a lot of people have done the whole, I zipped my bag, and I did it with, I did it with a tough camera. So I guess it's no big deal, but I had the top zipper section on one of my backpacks. I just threw it in there and for some reason thought I'd zipped it up. And I did the whole fling the backpack over your shoulder, and I could hear this ba-boom, 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 and turn around and look, and there's a TG4 or something laying in the road.
I'm gonna queue up. I'll share a couple photos.
Thank God, Jerry's got pictures to share because Jamie doesn't have nothing. So Jeff says the rain was fun in the UP. Yeah, man, we have a good time up there. Yeah. A lot of fun. It was good.
Yeah, I had fun. Yeah, for sure.
Jeff's fun.
Jeff is fun.
Jerry needs his bifocals. I'm assuming that's who you're talking about, right? Because he's old.
Keep them old jokes coming, goddammit. Keep them coming.
I'm probably older than Jerry.
I'll bump into all you guys somewhere.
I think I'm older than Jerry. You guys guess my age. Ooh, no. Don't. Let's not do that. So I got to still keep making up stuff to talk about because Jerry's trying to get that thing figured out on his end. So I'm going to scroll back up, see if I missed any kind of comments.
Talk about...
Oh, I like this one. Talking about entry point into mirrorless was the Pentax Ko1, literally nicknamed the Brick. I have zero experience with Pentax, although I am questioning why Olympus didn't adopt something similar to what Pentax can do with some of their cameras. They can shift the sensor to help compensate for the Earth's rotation with astrophotography. And as much control as Olympus has over the sensor and the, what do you call it? Like the sensor shift technology, I guess. I wonder why they haven't looked into something like that unless that's something that Pentax kind of holds a patent on. Off topic. To still talk with Mike. Seems to have dropped off the face of the earth. I actually talked to him just the other day. He's still here. He's still around. I'll tell you what. You want to hang out with Mike? Get yourself a Peloton. That man is a machine on that bike.
Oh, yeah. Shoot. Some of that stuff he does on that thing. No, thank you.
No. If I was 20 years younger, I don't know if I could keep up with Mike. That's Mike's new jam right now.
He did like a volcano ride or something the other day. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. And so once the weather's nicer, maybe, I don't know if it matters to Mike or not, he also rides like road bikes too, so not just Peloton. So his Peloton is a lot of training for actually riding a bike, so he does a lot of these long races. I could see Mike in the next year doing these crazy like 150 200 plus mile bike rides. So but Mike's doing good though. I talked to him, everything's finally doing good at work. His company is made it out the other side of COVID, I guess, and seems to be doing good. Bob says it came up in a discussion recently. Yeah, so was that with Frank Ruggles? I know he's shooting Pentax, and I know he does a lot of Astro, so I'd imagine it'd be something he'd be talking about. Let's see. So Jeff says he remembers standing in the water just down from a waterfall in the UP, and Jamie says, "Hey, man, be careful. We don't have insurance for this workshop."
Hey, man, you're not supposed to tell nobody that, man.
Actually, I do. Well, when you were on that workshop, the policy has since lapsed, but we carried $1 million of coverage. So glad you didn't fall, Jeff.
Yeah, you shouldn't have told Jeff that either. Now he's going to jump next time.
Barky dog.
I'm buying an electric bike next year, man. I'm getting one. I'm going to get Super 73. Yes, sir. All right, you ready? Uh-oh, I lost you.
I just muted my phone because my son's home from work and the dogs are barking.
Oh, all right. All right, here we go. Let me try to get this right this time. Are we good? Yo.
Nope, unless you take pictures of kittens in coal mines on a moonless night.
Hold on. Every time. Is that it? Do you see it now?
Yeah. Do you see it? If you can see it, we can see it.
All right. Here we go. All right. This is...
A kitten in a coal mine.
What are you talking about, dude?
I just don't know if your computer has the... what are you sharing? Like,
It's Lightroom.
Yeah, share your whole screen or something. It's probably going to be the best way to do it. Because if you're sharing Lightroom, I think once you jump into a different module, like the develop module, you lose it. Because you'd have to be sharing that window first. We're going to start a GoFundMe so Jerry can get a big workstation computer.
I just need to know how to use this shit. That's not it.
To infinity and beyond. No, you can keep it up there. You just need to pull up Lightroom in front of everything and just start going with it.
What I do... All right, hold on. Share screen. Application window?
That's what you were trying before, wasn't it?
Yes.
Share your whole screen and bring up Lightroom in front of everything else. Don't worry that you can't see the chat or the podcast, and I'll just tell you if it's working or not. We're good.
All right. About time.
So now do what you were going to do.
All right. So this is shot with Sony A7R II with the 200 or the 70 to 200 f4 G lens. Off-camera flash and with a combination of natural light. So I kind of balance the natural light with the flash. And this was shot, I don't have no metadata on this, so I can't give you that information. But, and then here's another angle of the same shot.
Ooh, your Robin Hood statement's ready.
Hey, man, I'll be trying to look at my finances. And then, same thing, Sony A7R II, 70-200 f4.
Like the color treatment on those.
Yeah, this is probably 135 millimeters, somewhere around there. I'm going to tell you what, man, that's a banging focal length for portraits, man.
Which one?
135 millimeters.
Yeah.
That's nice.
If you got the room.
Yes. So one of the reasons why I went back to this spot here is because of the room they got upstairs in that building with all those.
Yeah, that building is fun.
Yes. So, and then I got one more, and then this is just natural light.
Love it, Adam.
This is a swing they got hanging in there, and
oh, that's cool.
This is 200 millimeters. I do know that. I racked this one all the way out. So it's f4, 200 millimeters. ISO's probably 400, maybe.
Yeah. Wait, what was the lighting in there? I'm sorry if you said it. I didn't catch it.
This is natural light.
Okay, yeah. Sweet.
So, but yeah, them are my photos. I shot those this last weekend.
Nice.
So we're going to do another shoot this weekend too, so.
Much, much more than I'm shooting. Although tonight's sunset was amazing, and I got it with my phone. Does that count?
Right.
Here, hold on, you guys. Jamie's going to do his best image share ever tonight. I promise this is going to be a banger. Ready? Here we go. There we go. There's my, hold on, we get a exposure right. Oh, you can't tell. It's not blown out. I promise I exposed properly. This was shot with my Google Pixel 4 XL in night sight mode. Yeah, anyways, it sucks. I should have been prepared, but I was taking my kid out for dinner and didn't throw a camera in the car, which is really not what I normally do. So shame on me. Yes, Adam.
I got a cell phone picture today.
All right. I think we're probably good to cut the show here. No, you're done. You're done. I quit.
I gotta share my cell phone picture for today. Oh, come on, man. That's bullshit.
Okay, hey, Bob just brought up something
Forget
good.
it.
Camera lenses are all up to date. Good point, Bob. I guess I should mention that. So, all my EM1X birders out there, and I think the EM1 Mark III also, or maybe it's just the EM1X. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look at all the papers. Bird subject detection focus on Olympus that dropped today. I still need to update cameras today too. So I'm hoping, I didn't mention it yet to her, but I'm hoping that I can get my girlfriend to want to go to the wastewater plant. And
the owls are back.
I know. And I just want to test out the autofocus, the bird detection and tracking. So it'd be fun. I don't know if she's ever seen snowy owls or not. So if you're still in the chat room, Shelly, hey, you want to go look for snowy owls? I guess we can end the show. It's been 50 minutes and I didn't share a single photo. 2-3 and X. Thank you, Mike. My briefing on that was like a couple of months ago, and honestly, I forgot. It happens. All right. So, anyways, thanks you guys for tuning in. Yay! And Shelly said she's gonna go to the wastewater treatment plant. Maybe we'll run into Jerry and we get some Lee's fried chicken.
That's funny you said that. I was looking at the ad today. I was like, man, I want a goddamn 2-piece, man.
Yep. I need to get my mom up there. I was telling her about Lee's, how good it is. So, anyways, it's been 50 minutes. It's been fun. We'll see you guys in 2 more weeks. So that's another
Thanks for
Thursday.
the birthday wish. Thank the birthday wishes.
And speaking of his birthday, don't forget, share a picture on our Facebook group. And whether you're a Mac or Windows user, it doesn't matter. This nice keyboard can be yours for absolutely nothing. And we're going to, I think, do the finalized drawing of it on, if Jerry's available, our last show of the year and of the month is on December 30th. Ain't it? Yeah.
Party.
So we could do a drunk mirrorless minutes if you guys are down for that.
Yes.
What the heck, right? We're all adults. I mean, we just don't act like
it.
it.
Better to stay in the house anyway.
So if we do the show on December 31st or not, I'm going to do the drawing. Jerry and I'll get together and we'll draw a name. But if Jerry's down for the show on December 31st, it's not like I'm a big partier and COVID. Come on, who wants to hang out with a bunch of people, right? So we'll sit around and maybe ring in the new year and do a late mirrorless minutes. Who knows?
Yeah, right. For sure. Let's do it. I'm down.
All right. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. We'll talk more about the New Year's Eve special, maybe another giveaway. I got all kinds of stuff to give away. So we'll talk more in a couple of weeks. You guys take care. We'll see you around. Get out there and shoot like I need to.